I am Wife Blade, and I will punish you. And is it wrong? I just did the hand motion too.
Nope. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to WXR, or formerly WXR. It is now X-Marks the Spot with Richter Hammer. Blast from the past there for you. And so we are a couple days removed from the NXT Takeover Rival, where they like to just take their... Is it me or just are all their like events / pay-per-views? They like have a title and then they like slightly edit that title for like the next one.
Yeah, we were having that discussion when we were watching it, and I came up with the idea of why don't they just use the subtitle as the title? As Mo pointed out, Takeover should only be their WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Takeover should be their WrestleMania, and this one. Their first one was a rival, then all the others have been Takeover, and this is Takeover and a rival. Just they took out the A, and I hope no one would notice. I noticed.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It kind of reminds me a little bit of In Your House when they used to do that, of In Your House, and then eventually they dropped it. But it doesn't. It's not quite the same because it's like that's the only pay-per-views they've done is one called a rival, and all the rest are fucking. That minus the with an extra tagline, one of which they got confused constantly. If you remember the Fatal 4-Way one, where it was Takeover, NXT Takeover, and then they called it NXT Takeover Fatal 4-Way. Then they tried to call it NXT Takeover something else. Then they called it Takeover 4-Way. Then they just called it NXT Fatal 4-Way, and I'm like, make up your mind. It's not fucking Sheamus's move. You don't need to rename it every week.
Yeah, you guys aren't Michael Cole.
Yeah.
Vintage NXT. Wait a minute.
It's a modified NXT paper.
It's a modified takeover.
Yeah, modified takeover.
I want that to be a thing. All right.
Also, with them.
So, so first we will do the awards, and then some general thoughts on the pay-per-view. Correct?
Yes.
And so, although be warned that pretty much all my awards are from there, so I will be talking a little bit about that. But
so, are we doing the pay-per-view first, or are we doing Raw first? Since technically Raw aired first.
I would figured since he said do the awards first, I assumed it's just gonna be all of 5 of ours.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I will say that's something that annoyed me this week.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope this isn't one of your awards. It annoyed me the fact we didn't get a regular NXT this week, because when they did the other pay-per-views, you also got the NXT event and the special. This one is just the special replaced it, and I'm like, I feel cheapened. It would be like, sorry, there's no Raw this week. We had Fatal 4-Way. Well, we had Fastlane.
Weren't there specials on like Thursdays? I thought.
I think they were.
Or maybe it was 2. I don't know, but I think that they were on different days, and this time they're just like, it's the same day. And like, okay. But yeah, that would have been nice. All right, so so we'll do the awards and the pay-per-view, and then that will segue into match and promo of the weeks and whatnot.
Fair enough.
I'm pretty sure mine will. Well, no, mine will probably come up during the pay-per-view stuff, but that night I didn't have a promo. But anyway.
For those keeping score at home, I'm sure you recognize our voices, but despite the fact he hasn't said anything, James Phoenix actually is here.
He is.
And I will say, I think the reason you don't have a promo for it is it didn't have a promo.
It didn't really, no.
Now really, we went through that beforehand where I sort of said I had a promo, and they were like, wait, what promo? And I was like, well, technically, I just listed it as non-applicable, but I still listed it.
And I will admit, my promo this week on SmackDown is cheating really badly, but I've given it for the right reasons.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right.
We'll cross that little chestnut when we get to it. I know crossing the chestnut isn't an expression, but I'm going to go with it.
Crossing the chestnut.
You know, you could have just said it was a British expression, and we wouldn't have been none the wiser.
I would, but I'm representing my country accurately.
Chestnuts crossing over an open fire.
That sounds painful.
All right, so first award, take it away, Mole.
Yay! Woo! I'm number one. My first award, Lawyered. That's right, I called it Lawyered. And why did I call it Lawyered? Because David Utonga was one of the 3 people on the pre-show with Scott Stanford and Corey Graves replacing Alex Riley, which he did a good job. But when I saw it, it's bad. But my only thought was, oh my god, he's still employed. Oh, that's so sweet. I put a little suit on him.
I didn't hear of him getting fired, but when you mentioned he was there, I was like, oh, okay, they remembered they still pay him. I thought it was going to be like Stevie Richards, where he's just sitting at home collecting money. And then at some point they're like, oh man, we're still paying that dude.
No, and they put him on there, and I was like, he's a great person for that, to be fair, because in the ring he was never great. But he was okay. He's great at talking and explaining stuff. And as he was doing it, he also explained various stuff to do with his career. Like when they mentioned the fact there was going to be tag team matches and what was going on up till the point of the pre-show between Miz and Mizdow. He mentioned, yeah, well, I've been a WWE tag team champion, and honestly, you need to be on the same page as your tag team partner, and starts to go into what makes tag teams work. I'm like, as much as you as a tag team champion is completely forgettable, it's still cool that you went into that little deep well. So yeah, Lawyered.
This is a great way to sound condescending while being praising.
Thank you.
All right, so next award, take it away, Jim.
Alrighty. So, I had to give this an award because this just jumped the hell out at me. And I had to give this an award because, okay. Oh, God damn it, Michael Cole. Okay. So, no, strictly speaking, I really give it a name. I named it He's Still on His Feet. So.
I kind of like goddamn it, Michael Cole a little better.
Yeah, this might be the Michael Cole Coleism of the week.
Why don't you call it
Vintage Cole?
Yeah, why don't you call it He's Still on His Feet / God damn it, Michael Cole, a modified award.
There you go. But basically, at the beginning of Raw, Roman Reigns was forced into a match against the Big Show because that's apparently the only credible person he can fight anymore. And they started beating each other up in the ring. And apparently, it needed to be noted by Michael Cole that Roman Reigns ran at the Big Show, and I think he Superman punched him, or he did a flying lariat, clothesline, something where he jumped in the air and hit him in the face. Anyway, I don't think it was actually Superman. But anyway, he hit him, and Big Show, he hit the move, and you hear Michael Cole say something to the general effect of, Big Show's still on his feet after that move. And I'm just looking at the ring, and I'm like, Michael Cole, you realize Big Show's leaning in the corner, right?
They should have just piped in the audio from the end of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the second film, with "Impossible! No one could survive that" from the Super Shredder.
There you go.
That may be really obscure, rating that line, but still.
I know it works. And the funny thing is, Super Shredder's only a text message away. But yeah, I'm like, okay, Michael Cole, I get you're trying to make it sound dramatic, like, oh, like the Big Show's tough, Roy's move didn't knock him down, but you can't knock a dude down when he's physically leaning against the corner. There's nowhere for him to fall down to. It doesn't work that way. I mean, unless Roman Reigns hit him and then back up, unless Roman Reigns was going to hit him and then back up 5 feet, and Big Show was then going to fall over in a comical fashion, that wasn't going to work.
Like spins in midair or something.
How do you know Big Show wasn't going to land into the turnbuckle, and like when he collapses with any super heavyweight, the whole turnbuckle would fall down like the ring was in itself imploding, thus knocking him down?
True, but that seemed unlikely given that they had a lot of matches left to do that night.
It does seem unlikely.
That just jumped out at me like really, Cole. I know you're bad. Like you're sitting literally like 6 feet away. You can see the Big Show's in the corner. How would that knock him down? No.
It's modified standing.
Apparently.
Vintage turnbuckle.
Something like that.
Poor Michael Cole. Almost.
Right.
Wait, now I'm remembering his WrestleMania match. Never mind.
If it helps, remember him as I like to remember him, with the Rock's T-shirt on his head. Thank you.
That's about right.
I'm sorry, that was awesome when he used to get the T-shirt on his head, only because whenever he moved the T-shirt, his head, and the T-shirt just moved, slightly like you knew he was moving his head, I always used to think, oh, that's adorable. I look at him now and I'm like, oh, you're still alive.
Yeah. It's true. All right, so with your first award, take it away, Marcus.
Speaking of our adorable.
All right. Oh, thank you. All right. My award, I called it the Too Soon Award, and that goes to Daniel Bryan for making a Katie Vick joke at Triple H.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about Stephanie. Triple H then came out, and Stephanie was talking to Daniel Bryan in the ring about the casket match apparently he had on, I think, last week's SmackDown. And she was like, what kind of despicable human being are you that you would put Kane into a casket and close it? And I'm sitting here thinking, that's the rules of the match, lady. But Daniel Bryan turns around, and Triple H is in the ring, mind you. He hasn't said anything, but he's in the ring standing behind Stephanie, who's doing all the talking. And he goes, well, given what your husband has done in a casket, I thought you guys would appreciate it. And Mo and I were like, ooh. And Mo was like, did he just make a Katie Vick joke? And I was like, yes, he did.
Yep. That was pretty wonderful.
That was great.
But that wasn't Triple H. That was clearly Kane.
See, that should have been Triple H's reaction.
That would have been hilarious. And then Kane turns on like, God damn you!
That wasn't me. That's gotta be Kane. That's gotta...
But yeah, I thought that was a great line. I was just like, ooh, okay, touche, Daniel, touche.
Mm-hmm. The only way that would have been better is if he followed it up by putting on a big nose and then molesting a Macho Man in a casket.
Ooh, now that really gets the Too Soon award. Back to the host.
All right. So for my first award, pretty much all these are from NXT Takeover Rival, and I'm sure these will be talked about somewhat at other points.
That's so ridiculous.
Okay. But
sorry, the interview sounds so ridiculous when you have to say that. Like, it's like it takes forever to get through. It's like, why does it have to be that long? I don't get it.
No, he said he's going to get through these, but that he's going to mention them again later because all of his was through that was the only thing he was able to sit through because he couldn't watch the weekly shows. Not that it was difficult.
No, I never said it was. I meant him saying the name of the pay-per-view was long and difficult for no reason.
Yeah.
I was laughing at listening to him say that. I'm like, this really sounds ridiculous when you're listening to the name of this thing said objectively.
Oh, sorry. When he said that, and I heard you laughing, and I go, why is it so long and ridiculous to get through? I was like, I think you misunderstood what he meant. My bad.
No, I just meant that to give the name of the pay-per-view, not the pay-per-view itself. The pay-per-view itself wasn't that bad, but the name was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it's less ridiculous. Oh, it's fine. It's less ridiculous than a couple of the Yu-Gi-Oh games I used to play. But
touche.
And it's still not as ridiculous as Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z. Just for the redundancy, just call it Dragon Ball Battle of Z. There's no need for the two Z's.
So for my first award, this is the Shelton Benjamin Award.
Ooh.
For for the Baron Corbin versus Bull Dempsey match with that ridiculously botched over the top rose clothesline. Because just poor Shelton Benjamin. I liked him, but there was a time where he had some rough botches there, and and don't worry, there's another botch person I remember, and that award will come up later. But yeah, just that clothesline, I was like, ooh, like that looked bad, and the audience all booed, and I'm like, yeah, it's you just have to like just move past it and try to forget about it because you're not can't like make up for that.
Yep.
When you said the Shelton Benjamin Award, I thought you were gonna give it to somebody that came out with his mama.
That should be the Buff Bagwell.
There you go.
There you go.
Forklift match.
I thought the Buff Bagwell was the shitty rapper sidekick award.
Isn't that B squared?
Nice.
So the John Cena B squared. Anyway.
Touche.
Okay, that's a good one. I was actually going to say the R-Truth Award, but yeah, B squared is probably better.
Yeah, Road Dogg and K Quick, get rowdy.
Exactly. Oh god, that was so terrible. I remember that. That was so terrible. It's like, who the hell is this guy?
And I'm sorry, if you want to get rowdy, you have to be Roddy Piper.
Yeah, pretty much. Or at the very least, if you are not Piper, you must at least be in or near the vicinity of the pit. Yes.
And he means the Piper's pit, not the Lazarus pit.
No, that's where Rachel Ghoul on Flash is going, or Arrow rather.
That's when Benoit's going to come back for next year's Royal Rumble.
Okay then.
It could happen. Oh, it couldn't happen.
No, it couldn't.
Russo swerve, it already did.
And he grew a beard and called himself Daniel Bryan.
It was me, Trips. It was me all along.
That's why he's so pale and corpsey looking around the eyes.
And because he didn't want to give himself away, because, well, he can't really use the move anymore because of what happened. He had to use a modified crippler crossface and call it the yes lock.
There you
go. Yeah, I'm surprised Cole hasn't called it a modified crossface.
To be fair, the yes lock's full name is Yes It's Me. The Yes It's Me lock.
Now he's not
I
DDT.
believe it's butter.
Yeah. And technically speaking, where it says demonstrated, he can't call that the crossface because then that would be moving infringement on Sasha Banks.
As if Michael Cole knows who she is.
well, no, he probably does because Jerry Lawler has probably banged her.
There you go.
I don't know. With his age nowadays, he's likely to have another heart attack.
This is true.
That's a lot better. I was just thinking of like bad.
But in all fairness, that has never stopped Vince
related
McMahon.
What was that, Richter? You thought you was having a heart attack because of Natalia, and that's why they called it the heart attack? Whoa, what are you implying?
Stopper punch or whatever. That move.
Yeah.
I think he's implying the obvious fact that Tyson Kidd's a terrible husband.
He is a wonderful man. How dare you?
Well, Jim, they do call Sasha Banks the boss. Gee, I wonder why.
Exactly. Now you understand.
It's because she's a gender-swapped Bruce Springsteen.
Apparently a race-swapped Bruce Springsteen, too.
Well, excuse me for not seeing colour, Mr. Racist. This has gone off topic way too far.
What the hell happened here?
This is why our podcast is awesome, because we have fun.
I need a roadmap to figure out how we got here and how to get back.
I know. Transitioning from zombie Benoit to Sasha Banks banging Jerry Lawler. That's a It flowed really well. You look back at it and you're like, how does that work?
Yeah. to literally Sasha Banks transitioning.
Yeah.
Touche.
Okay, Hosty. Bring us back.
All right, so Second award, take it away, Mole.
So my second award, Jeff Farmer with a shotgun. Thank you. Because, for those of you listening, Jeff Farmer used to be fake Sting in WCW, and it was an obvious fake Sting during the Sting promo on Raw, like, really fucking obviously fake, like, glaringly fake, like, bad CAW fake.
I think it was primarily obvious that it was fake, considering that Sting looked about 20 years younger than the actual Sting.
Yep. It's like, what? Why wouldn't you at least find someone that looked similar? Or don't use it.
Yeah, I mean, the fancy effects would have been more than enough. You didn't need a Sting who missed his cue and slid into the ring late to ruin it.
I don't think he missed his cue, because the lights went out and then instantly came back on as he was sliding in, so I think the light guy turned them on too fast.
Ah, fair enough.
The light guy hated him.
Yeah.
Apparently, the light guy was not pleased.
I also like the comment that Mole made at the time, where he said, "Is that Damien Stingdow?"
That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing if it was.
Yes,
Yep.
we need Damien Stingdow.
We do, but I had to give a mention to Jeff Farmer and Farmer with a shotgun at the same time, which is just too good to pass up.
It was. It was.
It was a double pun. And now I can smile and look back at our host with glee.
Bada bada boom. How perfect is that?
All right, so Jim, your second award.
Alrighty, let me get my awards here, see what I got coming up.
Oh,
By the way, just in case anybody's wondering, for this time, so they can give the award properly next time, the next time the award will be the Cody Hawk Award, independent wrestler in Ohio, played Sting on Raw.
Yeah, Jeff Farmer did it first.
Fair enough. Anyway.
I don't want poorly named Tony Hawk so he doesn't get sued.
Ah. Fair enough. Anyway, yeah. So I have a two-part award here, two-part awards that are related. I'll do the first part here. I was trying to think of a cool two-part name, and it just didn't really work, unfortunately. So I'm just I couldn't. I had a clever name for the second part, but I couldn't go with a clever name for the first part. So I'm just going to call it Crouch Into the Night Part 1. I couldn't come up with a catchy title for this part, even though I tried. I was going to use Crouch Into the Night as subtitles for these, but it failed. So Crouch Into the Night Part 1 is the fans actually in the match having a battling "Let's go Ziggler, Let's go Wyatt" chant, because that was actually awesome. I didn't expect them to get behind a guy in that match, and they actually got behind both guys in that match, and it ended up being a pretty good match, despite Bray Wyatt getting his nose broken.
I don't think it was broken.
Well, the Lowell Dirt sheet said that it was broken.
Oh, well, he appeared on SmackDown perfectly fine, fighting
I know
R-Truth.
that they said it was a minor break, it wasn't that bad, and he was able to appear on SmackDown.
Yeah, it didn't even look swelling. It's like they made it up, and the second the SmackDown thing happened, they suddenly said, "Oh yeah, broke." It was just a minor break. Oh, almost unnoticeable, almost like it didn't exist.
Well, considering Bray Wyatt was bleeding like crazy, it clearly existed.
A bleed does not equal a break, because they zoomed in on his nose and his face, because he was in the corner for a lot of it when R-Truth was rapping randomly, and his face looked perfectly fine. Minus the more, what the fuck are you doing?
Fair enough. I like the fact that they were actually chanting for some of the guys in the ring for a change, and
I do like that.
actually supporting them both equally for once.
Yep, I do like it when you get the dueling chants, like during some of the Cena matches we had that and stuff. But I do like the dueling chants, and I will say the crowd for the last couple of weeks have been slightly better, because they're not just booing Roman Reigns because he's not zombie Lazarus Pit Chris Benoit.
Pretty much.
Damn, I miss story designer.
Oh, yeah. So do I with something I've been seeing this week, but...
Anyway, back to Hammy.
All right, so Marcus, your second award?
All right, my second award, I call it the "That's Not How It Works" award. Now, there was a tag team match. It was Daniel Bryan and, was it Reigns versus
Yes.
Big Show and Rollins. So Daniel
And
Bryan.
Kane.
Kane was like ringside, right?
When those two teamed up later on.
Oh, it was a 2-on-3. That's right.
Yeah, a 4 or 5 because they also had J&J.
Oh no, this was the first match. This was the one that led into that.
Fair enough, and it might have just been a normal tag one. My bad.
Oh, it was him and Kane. That's right, because Rollins came out for the other one. So it's Big Show and Kane. Anyway, so Daniel Bryan had Kane in the yes lock, and Big Show, from standing at the ringside, reaches in and pulls Daniel Bryan off of Kane, pulls him out of the ring, and throws him over the barricade. And then the ref calls for the bell, and DQs Kane and Big Show. I'm like, that's not how it works, ref. That was a legal maneuver. He just broke up the submission. I don't see the problem here.
Might be the over the barricade part, like you're only allowed to use a certain amount of force.
It would be weird because I've seen someone pull someone out, literally beat the piss out of them outside of the ring, including into barricades and tables, throw them back in the ring, no DQ. So
yeah, it would be it would be weird, but WWE does have a last rule where they like to change rules at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could understand it if like, say, Rollins came out and did it. Fair enough. He's an illegal man. DQ. But it's his tag team partner. He just broke up the submission. What? I can't break up a submission on my tag team partner now? It's illegal?
No, I'm thinking it's the breaking up was fine, but then tossing him to the outside of the ring and throwing him over the barricade, not cool. That's what I'm predicting, just because that seems the only reason that would be silly, because they broke stuff up during the match.
Fair enough. That's like stupid because
it is stupid.
Really do that. I don't think I've ever seen them call it DQ on a legal man beating on a legal man and tossing him over a barricade. I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
More on that later.
Oh no. Oh no. But yeah, that's my award.
Yeah, like I said, it does annoy me when WWE always modifies its rules. So you're like, wait, that shouldn't. No.
Modified rule breaking.
It always annoys
WWE.
It always annoys me when you're like, oh, because it also annoys me just because whenever Michael Cole tells you the rules of the match, you're like, I know how this works, and then suddenly they'll change one of the rules just like it's almost so the people going, I know how this works, are wrong.
Yeah.
Every tower, it's the Richter hour of power.
Yes.
I gave you a theme song.
All right, so for my second award, this is the Ultimo Dragon Award for the Lucha Dragons having a couple botches in their match. Yeah, I was slipping on the cape. I wasn't the only one that remembered it, but I don't know if it was a botch, but one of them was that like Hurricane Rana to Buddy Murphy, where like I had to keep rewinding it because I'm like, did he just like put his head through the ring? Like that was pretty brutal, and I think it was botched, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I felt bad because like I did like Sin Cara, but I think it was Hunico that I liked. Then I just forgot about him because I was like, oh man, yeah, that's right, Mr. Taped the match 3 times, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think this is Hunico, isn't it?
Is it? I thought it wasn't. I thought Hunico was fired.
No,
the other one wasn't fired. Hunico was the one they put the mask on as Venom. As the Venom Sin Cara, which I made the video when we did the videos, and the one who then had to record a match 3 times, it was Hunico who did that.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay.
The other one messed up now and again, but not to the same degree of the match 3 times.
True, but the other one also messed up worse, because usually when he messed up, it caused him to be injured.
They've still got Ryback, and not all of his injuries were his own fault. Some of them, like you saw people step the fuck aside when he jumped instead of catching him.
True.
One of which was Hunico.
Irony. But Johnny, you can tell Hunico's is Sin Cara because of the giant shoulder tattoo.
Hmm. All right, but okay, so yeah.
Also, don't be surprised if this is the last time you see Kalisto before they turn him into a gay hairstylist.
Assuming that rumor is still true, I'm like, what the? Because it's been too long. It's like that was supposed to happen on main event, and I'm watching main event, and it's not happened. It could still happen, but I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he had too many botches, and they're like, maybe another week. And he's like,
There you go.
I want to style their hair.
I want it to be like my role model, the beefcake. With the big clippers.
That walk with the, yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. He was wonderful.
All right, so with the third award, take it away, Mole.
I went with Love is in the Air. And the reason was to the WWE Network, available now for $9.99, video hosted by Renee Dupree, or not Renee Dupree, Renee Young. Why the fuck am I thinking of Renee Dupree? Renee Young.
That was a horrible insult to Renee Young. Good God.
But crazy stupid
He's not a boring Frenchman. Oh my God.
Yeah. Like I said, hey, well, he was cool. But yeah, Crazy Stupid Love hosted by Renee Young. It was fun. It wasn't great. That's why I only got one. I just really wanted to talk about it because the way they did it, it wasn't a countdown where they listed couples in order of greatness. They didn't list them in order of continuity. They just randomly mentioned them, like she was having a round table discussion with herself about the couples. But it was still fun. I mean, she made it work, but it was still like, this would have been better as a countdown, like top 5 or top 10 couples or something.
The number one of which would be Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth.
It wouldn't be Perry Saturn and Moppy?
Debatable, because we're not really sure how that relationship ended or if they're still together.
It ended via deceased. They ended when they killed Moppy.
Moppy!
Moppy!
A moment's silence for our fallen mop.
True, but it was more successful than most relationships because Broom was born.
Yep. And back to Ivory Tower.
In the Ivory Tower.
It's the Richter Hour of Power.
All right, so Jim, your third award.
Okay. The second part of my previous award, it's the Crowd Chant of the Night Part 2, I'm calling it The Tides Have Turned. Because holy shit, we went from, within a few weeks, we went from the, within a month, we've gone from the Royal Rumble reaction to people chanting Daniel Bryan getting speared by Roman Reigns. What the hell just happened here?
People have realized that they don't need to be whiny that he's not Daniel Bryan because he could be good in his own capacity.
Hopefully.
That'd just be silly.
That would be. Take that back.
But yeah, that came out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, that's nice. I think people chanting somebody other than Daniel Bryan. It goes along with my earlier award about their chanting Ziggler and Wyatt. I'd like to see some variety in the chants.
Nice.
Yep. I think also part of it was because Bryan deserved it.
Oh, for kicking Roman Reigns in the face?
Yeah, he kicked him in the face during the same match. Then we had the spear, so it's like, well, clearly he wasn't innocent with the spear. It's not like he just went spear for no reason.
Yeah. You mean no reason?
Yeah.
But yes, back to the Ivory Tower.
So, Marcus, your third award?
Sure. Well, it goes into, it's kind of taking off of Jim's here. Mine is called the Award. And it's for the crowd at Raw seemingly turning on Daniel Bryan. Because, check this out, Richter.
Mm-hmm.
So, during the night, throughout the whole night when Daniel Bryan was there was a chorus of boos. You could quite plainly hear boos in amongst the cheers and yes, yes, yeses. When Daniel Bryan came out at the top of the show to interrupt Roman Reigns, a big portion of the crowd was chanting, "No, no, no," at Daniel Bryan speaking. I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then and then of course, as Jim mentioned, they also started chanting, "Yes, yes, yes," when Reigns speared Bryan at the end of the show. So yeah, crowd 180.
Which, like I said, I think, as I mentioned to you, WWE has kind of done something weird. They were like, oh no, they're not cheering for both men equally at the pay-per-view. We wanted them to cheer for Roman Reigns equally. I know. And they've essentially made the crowd hate both. What? It's like, it's cool, it's cool. Whichever one wins will piss you off. It's cool.
Yeah, it seems like the crowd likes Reigns again, which is weird. I would not have predicted that.
Yeah, it seems to be half of the, because it seems to be the last couple of weeks, half of them seem to like Reigns, half of them like Bryan, or at least 60-40 in either direction. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. I'm glad Reigns is actually getting respect.
Yeah.
He's not Roger Dangerfield yet.
Yeah. And if you can believe this one, Richter, when they were chanting "No, no, no" at the beginning of the show, front row, center of where the camera was pointing, was one guy doing the no gesture as he was chanting "no" at Daniel Bryan, with Daniel Bryan prominent in the foreground. It's just like, wow, WWE. That shot just speaks a million words right there. And all of them are no. But yeah, that was a weird night. An enjoyable night, but a weird night.
Dimension not only of anyway. All right. So for my third award, I call this the OMG moment in Baylor versus Neville when he drop kicked him through the barricade. I could like almost see it on the screen. He cashed in all of his finishers.
That needs to be in the game for people who aren't super heavyweights. Like someone like me might be able to spear, say, Jim through the barricade because I'm fat, I'm heavy. Jim, he might be able to drop kick me through it, so he's using my own momentum against me to send me through it.
Yeah. They should. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. Well, I mean, other than like laziness, but yeah, they should put it in the game. That'd be awesome. So
that moment was pretty cool though, when he was like, "Don't drop kick through the barricade."
I liked it. Yeah, just reminded me of the game. But so for fourth award, take it away, Mole.
The power of words. Came with Big Show giving a speech beginning of SmackDown to the tag teams competing in tag team turmoil, with more on this later. And it was just kind of funny because Kane was actually giving it like a proper motivational speech that made them all cheer and leave and stuff. And then Big Show's even laughing. Kane then does his evil laugh. But I love the fact they even mentioned at one point, they go, "And don't be afraid to grab the bull by the horns." So Los Matadors actually grabbed their little guy by the horns. And as he was like doing that let me at him style of pose. And the other's like, I don't think he meant literally. And which Kane's like, no, he has the right idea. Grab the bull by the horns. Grab the bull by the horns. And they start doing this motivational speech. It was hilariously awesome. Like Kane was a face giving a big pep talk. But then then straight after they've all left with that evil smile and grin, it's like, you manipulated. Way to go, Kane. It's always nice to see heels do manipulation that's not overly, like, it's obvious they're manipulating you. This one actually felt like a proper motivational speech. That's kind of cool. Back to Rick.
All right. So next we will go to Jim if he is back.
I are back.
All right.
All right. My next award, I call it the Passing the Torch Award. And I gave it to the Finn Balor-Adrian Neville match for Adrian Neville kind of passing the torch on to Finn Balor, and Finn Balor becoming the number one contender for the NXT Championship. Because it was a great match, and I thought that was cool that they kind of worked that so that they could have that little passing on, which presumably means Adrian Neville will get called up to the main roster soon.
Possibly.
It's weird because I hope so, but I also don't. Because I can see him on NXT.
Oh, okay. I thought it might have been for the reason I've been saying when everyone's like, "Yay! Hopefully Charlotte's gonna go up to the main roster." Or, hopefully Charlotte's gonna go onto the main roster, where the people keep saying all the time. And I'm like, hopefully not, because on NXT she gets to show her wrestling and be seen as this great figure of wrestling that's just holding the division together. I don't want to see her go to fucking Raw and, I don't know, hang off the arm of Bob Barker because they need a diva.
Yeah.
Or, oh, she lost to Emma via roll-up.
Yeah. Well, yes, there's that too. Because it's like, I don't know if it's a promotion to leave NXT.
Yeah.
I'm worried what gimmicks they'll get.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I feel
and definitely with Charlotte. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I feel for Adrian Neville, he might actually be able to make it, based on how the division is at the moment. You could easily see him having a great match with someone like Reigns, Cena, or Bryan, or Big Show, or someone. Like Big Show would be like the whole, like Shawn Michaels versus Nash style, with the powerhouse versus the other one. But then Daniel Bryan could be more technical. I could totally see him working. Elimination Chamber, maybe doing his woo or off the top of the fucking chamber. Awesome. Charlotte coming up to the main roster. All I see in her future is horrible, degrading eye candy moments because that's what the main fans want. And that makes me sad.
Yeah. I agree.
I can agree with that.
All right, so your next award, Marcus?
All right, it's my final award. I call it the Blue Balls Award. And that goes to WWE for continually teasing a GTS from Hideo Itami, a.k.a. Kenta, the man who created the fucking move, and not allowing him to actually use it because you're still pissed off at CM Punk. Which, okay, you're pissed off at CM Punk. Fair enough. But this is the guy who created the move, and the fans obviously want to see it. So much for re-listen to the fans.
How come you didn't give the award to the John Laurinaitis when he wasn't allowed to use the cutter?
He wasn't allowed to use the cutter?
Yeah, when they did John Laurinaitis v CM Punk, whenever CM Punk got his hands on him, it was basically Austin v McMahon all over again.
True.
And that was only a part joke. Yeah, they do keep teasing it, but I think they may be teasing it for a reason, because NXT doesn't have great storylines, and that's not an insult to NXT, but you know what I mean? It doesn't have the big drawn-out storylines. But they do tell stories within their matches, and it seems like he's been teasing it for a while, which means I think when he actually finally hits it, it's going to be that moment of, he hit it! What the fuck? 1, 2, 3. He wins the big one. Or a big one.
True.
But I could be entirely wrong. They could just be cock teasing.
Yeah. Yeah, there better be a payoff, or it's just WWE being a dick to the fans because they're butthurt over CM Punk.
I can very much see that. I'd like to think now, but I can see that.
I would make the case of if they were really butthurt with CM Punk, wouldn't they have him do the move and do it well, and talk about how he's the guy that invented the move, and keep telling people that, so that the CM Punk move was then buried, instead of making this guy not be able to do it, so it's like that move only belongs to CM Punk?
You would think that. But I'm sure WWE is also probably afraid that if he pulls off the move, all the fans will chant is CM Punk, and that might actually bury Hideo Itami.
That is also true. Which it means it's a good job if he doesn't do it then, in case it does bury him.
Yep. Except I think though I don't think that would happen because I think the reason all the NXT fans want him to do it is because they know he's the guy that fucking invented the move. It's his move.
It is.
And the reason why I say I think they know that is because when he came out, all they chanted was Kenta. And even to this point, sometimes they chant Kenta. They're starting to chant Hideo more, just because, well, fuck it, that's what WWE's calling him. But everyone there knew he was Kenta. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which I will say, I did like the name Kenta. I do prefer the name Hideo Itami. It just sounds awesome, especially if you've read or seen Discworld with Tea Time. Actually, no, it's pronounced Tiatami. That might just be me.
Fair enough. But yeah, that's my final award. Back to Baldy One Kenobi.
All right.
The Cuddly Hammer.
Yeah.
That's his outro.
So my fourth award, I called it the Code Bailey Award, where during the NXT Women's match, there we go, I remember to call it correctly, Bailey ran in and did like basically a code breaker on Sasha Banks in the middle of like a flapjack, I don't know, move.
It was a double team.
Kinda, yeah. I don't think Charlotte like expected it. She was just doing it. Like, it was like it was a double team move to one person, the other person. It was like a what the hell? But I was like, that was really.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that noticed. I was like, wait, did she just do a code breaker? What the hell?
She slides and does it, and I'm like, ooh. And then my wife goes, what? And I'm like, this. Like, dude, that really awesome on the computer function on the WWE Network site where it's the rewind 10 seconds. I love that button. But I was like, yeah, watch this. And she goes, oh, wow. And I'm like, yeah, it was cool.
She did it well, too. I was impressed with how she executed the move. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
See, I thought it looked good. I didn't like the execution of the move compared to Jericho's version.
No, well, yeah, she had much less space to work with it.
She had less space, but
Yeah.
I know this is going to sound condescending. I don't mean it to be. It reminds me of The Rock Sharpshooter. Where it wasn't overly terrible, but every time he did it, I was like, that's not a fucking sharpshooter, you prick. Go watch Bret Hart. When The Rock's like, no, I'm barely applying pressure. The exact same way The Rock fans now insult Cena for doing the STO. God, I hated his sharpshooter. I like the rest of his moveset. Fucking sharpshooter.
But yeah,
that might just be me. I'm sorry.
Really good.
Yeah. Yes.
That women's match was good. And I will talk about something else to do with that later. I was about to give away a thought about that match, but I was like, no, I'll wait. I'll wait till we actually get to the pay-per-view discussion.
Yeah.
In honor of Richter's death.
If I die now, you're gonna feel bad.
I won't. I'll just be looking at Marcus going, really? Him? Really?
Challenge accepted.
Marcus, was it shooting on location?
Yeah.
More ways than one.
Yeah. Richter dies now, and I'll just look and go, oh, that Marcus. What's he like? That's what it's become now. He kills a celebrity brutally, and we're just like, oh, that Marcus.
Yeah. We just look at him. Marcus, shake our finger, and it's like, wah, wah. He just looks at the camera and shrugs.
Yo, Marcus,
Roll
like
credits. Marcus!
Please tell me you named your son Alvin just so you could do that whenever he misbehaves. Alvin!
No, that would have been
Or
good.
tell me you at least named him Kakarot so you can do the Broly scream. Kakarot! That's awesome.
Oh crap, Daddy's pissed.
Victor's like, no, I didn't name him Alvin. No, I didn't name him Kakarot. My wife wouldn't take any of my suggestions. She also didn't allow first name Mega, middle name Man. Or Maxsuit DLC as a one name. All hyphenated.
We almost went with Darth Vader. We both voted on it, and we both said yes, but the judge said no deal.
Well, hell, we have an Anakin Skywalker. Why not a Darth Vader?
Which, that's the perfect place. Bring it round to next award, Rick.
All right, so with your fifth award, take it away, Mole.
Your faith in your friends is yours. And that's to every single tag team losing to Reigns and Daniel Bryan while they argued. Literally, tag team turmoil was, like winner stays on tag team gauntlet match, of job out the entire tag team division to Reigns and Bryan. Even the Ascension lost, and they lost by taking them to the outside, sending them crashing into the turnbuckle, and got disqualified. Because that's a thing now. Which, yeah, like I said, Marcus, we're back to that. The legal man getting disqualified for throwing him into something on the outside.
Really?
Really?
Is it the same ref? Tell me it's the same ref.
I don't know.
If it is, he needs to be fired.
I know he probably would have been doing his job. Whoever WWE would have told him to do that, because that way the Ascension gets disqualified and doesn't lose by pinfall, so they can make a big deal when they eventually lose by pinfall.
Again, that's not how it works.
It is now. Hey, I will remind you.
The game now.
They might.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if they institute that into 2K16, I quit.
They might do, but to be fair, like I've mentioned in the past, it used to be illegal to jump off the top rope.
Yeah, that's why they count.
So, yeah, the rules evolve. So, but I think they've done that just.
I'd call it a de-evolution.
I think they've done this just because, basically, when we get the no holds barred or extreme rules or no disqualification, whichever you vote for now on the WWE app, basically, that means because everything's legal, they can then send them crashing into stuff, and it's like, oh my god, but in matches where you can't do that, they're not going to count it as disqualification. I'm not, or it might just be a tag team thing. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. So yeah, every tag team lost to them, including Big Show and Kane. But admittedly, Big Show and Kane lost because Big Show started arguing with Kane and punched him in the face. So Big Show turned yet again, which I almost gave. Because I'd heard Big Show had turned before this. Someone gave me that spoiler. I was like, oh, fuck off. But when someone gave me that spoiler, I was like, okay, I had that down, ready to give that an award. And then when I saw how he turned, I was like, no, they just buried the tag team division more effectively than Triple H ever could. It shocked me. The only tag team that weren't out there was Golden Stardust, and that's because I think right now they're feuding heavily and pretty much have broken up. So it's like, okay, but still, you don't do that to every tag team, because, in my opinion, with a tag team, and this may sound old schoolish and a little tangency, I am aware, but Richter, I don't know if you'd agree. If you have two main eventers and they're arguing, they shouldn't be able to win a matchup against the actual tag team, because while the main eventer can beat a tag team person in a singles match, in a tag team match, part of what makes tag team matches great is the chemistry between the two people and how that's their speciality and how they know how to approach. Like, for example, Devon Dudley should always lose to Batista. But Batista feuding with John Cena should totally lose to the Dudley Boys if they're a team, because the Dudley Boys have that chemistry and they're famous for it. It's their speciality.
Yeah.
I hate it when they do this, where they're like, tag teams would lose to them because these ones are main eventers. But they're tag teams. It's that speciality. Stop burying the tag team division. We just started to get it back. But yeah, that was my award. Sorry for the long rant.
No, that's fine. All right, so Jim, with your fifth award, if he's there.
It's possibly just tunes us out. He does do that.
I know. Oh, we were 1 award 2. Okay.
Oh, hang on. I think he's now coming back.
Yep. Sorry, I had to hit the unmute button on the thing. So, final award. I call it the Saving the Best. It's a double play. You'll see what I mean in a minute. And I gave it to Charlotte for the and Sasha Banks to a lesser extent for the reason of number one, Saving the Best because it's the last award on my list, and also Saving the Best because they saved Charlotte, known for being the best in terms of being a Flair, who are known for submission holds, by instead of having her outright tap out to Sasha Banks, which they could have done, they had Sasha turn the submission into a roll-up and get a pinfall on her. And I thought that was very clever, so that you can continue to say that, bring Charlotte up to the roster and say she's never tapped out, and you could potentially feud her with Natalya. They won't because they're not that smart, but they could.
They could, but yeah, that did look cool. And I will say, in my opinion, which I'll go into more when we discuss the matchup, Sasha Banks is highly underrated. Like I've said, I do like her, but everyone always just disregards her and like, oh yeah, the best one on NXT is totally Charlotte, or the best one's this. No one ever mentions Sasha Banks, and it's a shame.
It is. Nobody ever mentions Bayley either.
There's a reason.
Oh,
It's called a gimmick.
True.
It's like no one kept saying Eugene was the most technical wrestler, but at one point he was a great wrestler, but the gimmick was fucking stupid. That's
Fair
a case of a bad gimmick being so bad it holds them down.
Fair enough.
Okay, so for my fifth and final award, this will probably be touched upon later. But anyway, I call this the Sheamus Bullshit Award, where after 2 whole months of being on TV, Kevin Owens gets the NXT title. I was like, man, poor Sami Zayn, dude. Is he going to be like a transitional champ? Like, that sucks. I like him.
I think it's more like with their friendship, they're going to build it back up to him winning it again. The match was, the match was actually compared to being like John Cena overcoming the odds against Brock Owens.
Oh, that would hurt. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of like, oh, this person just got here, and oh, here's the belt for him. I'm like, what? Like, I don't really like that. So I was just like, Kevin Owens seems fine, but I don't know. I felt like they gave him the belt too soon. But that's at least
fair
just my
enough.
opinion.
That's fair.
I could see that. I like Kevin Owens, but I will say I could totally see that.
Well, I think he's had like 2 matches, maybe.
Yeah. He's had like 2 or 3 matches.
I'm not opposed to him getting the belt. I just feel like he got it way too quickly.
He did. Which like I said, yeah, I can understand the complaint with that, because a lot of times I also feel that way. I don't with this, ironically, but I have in the past, like when Sheamus became WWE champion after he was on the roster for like 1 month. Oh great, he beat Triple H after attacking him backstage with an iron pipe.
No, it wasn't Owens'. I'm sorry. I thought you were sorry.
It was like congratulations, yay, title push. It's like, really? He was only on main roster for like a month or 2 months, and he was champion. But continue, Marcus.
I was gonna say, isn't Owens' story? I don't know how much of it is true, but they kept saying about how he was basically an established wrestler, and he's a slightly older guy, and but he never got his time, if you will, or he never got, he never was able to actually.
They called him first.
To like a main roster type, like where he's at now, because he had to take time off because his wife was having a kid and stuff like that.
2 of them, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if that applied to NXT, like if he was in NXT or in the WWE roster somewhere before he came in here, but if he did, then that could be why they just outright gave him title, because he is technically supposed to be established.
I can't remember how long he's been in NXT. I don't think it's been too long. I think it was like this year he joined NXT, but I know he was in Ring of Honor and shit like that, and he's won titles. He is really credible, but the point wasn't but I know, like Rick said, his point wasn't how credible he was outside the WWE. It was in WWE.
Because like Hideo Itami and Finn Balor are like accredited outside of it, but they still didn't show up and like get a belt.
Right. Well, like I said, I didn't know if that storyline, if that
Yeah.
was like part of WWE or not, because again, I don't watch a lot of NXT, even though I should, so I didn't know if that was like early in NXT.
No, I think he's only been signed up since like June or July or something.
Fair enough. Then yeah, way too soon.
Yeah, but yeah, like well, I can understand that like he's been around and yeah, he was in like Ring of Honor and wrestled a lot of other places and stuff. So it's not that part. It's just I don't know, but just like it seems like a lot of the NXT guys have that pedigree, but they still don't necessarily just get it that quickly. It just felt weird to me. All right, but excuse me. So I guess now we'll go on to.
I realized I was muted. I was going to say, yeah, I understand your point of, while he was, I think it was Kevin Steen in Ring of Honor or some shit. It was he was cool, fair enough. He been in another organization. He's won championships, but then that just annoys me. That does, as much as I like seeing him, I do like the fact he's champion. I will say it just annoys me on the fact a load of WCW world champions come to WWE and just get jobbed out for years. It's like, oh, come on. Why'd you respect that one more than this one? This one was bigger than you at one point. Oh, I may have just answered my own question.
Yeah, it does feel really random. Like you get two people with very similar things. It's like this one will push, and you're like, what? Huh?
Yeah, it's like
this one will be buried for like 3 years, and this one will get a push in a month. And it's like I what?
It's like I know Tommy Dreamer did loads of cool stuff in ECW. He was very credible in ECW. I felt at least, thanks to his feud with Raven and stuff. And what the Sandman King. I don't know if Rick would agree he was credible.
Yeah, I like Tommy Dreamer.
Then he comes to WWE and he's eating Undertaker's tobacco spit. And I'm like, wait, what? Why is that a thing? I don't know if you remember that Undertaker had that tobacco spit. And he's like, go on, eat it, Tommy Dreamer. You'll do anything for money. Eat it. And Tommy Dreamer gets this like bowl of tobacco spit and goes, and just downs it. It was horrible.
Wow, yeah, that's wow.
And a complete insult to him, I think.
Yeah. All right, so now I guess we'll go on to the pay-per-view at large and talk about what we liked and didn't like about it. First match, what? Yeah.
Oh, because are we keeping match and promo of the night for later, or are we not doing them?
I thought we'd do them after the pay-per-view, or not
that makes sense.
But I figured do this special and then do that.
That makes sense because people will probably mention during that damn match of the night for that, so it seemed ridiculous.
Yeah.
Good point. I was just double checking. I was like, oh crap! Did I accidentally write down more than I'm supposed to?
Oh no! Don't worry, we'll get the match and promo of the night. So did you want to go through it just parts you liked, or did you want like match by match and what we liked about each one? Or
whichever one you want to do.
Okay. I believe the first match was Corbin v. Dempsey. Was that the first one?
It may have been.
I think so. Yeah.
It's Tommy versus Breeze.
Oh yes, that match. That was pretty good actually. That was a solid match, in my opinion.
I like that match.
And I saw what you meant, Marcus, because I watched it later, but like I was talking with them when they started to watch it, and Marcus is just like, "When did Tyler Breeze become Two-Face?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "His tights are like they're two colors split down the middle." I was like, "He hasn't had that before." And then when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what he's talking about." No, he hasn't had those on before.
And I also made the comment that he came out holding what appeared to be a weapon from Saints Row the Fourth.
Yeah, his selfie stick. I will say. This match, I don't know. I like the match-ish, but this might just be me. It felt like a regular NXT match, whereas when it comes to the NXT specials, it's like at WrestleMania, they always try harder, and you expect them to try harder because it's WrestleMania. It's like NXT Takeover or Turnover, whatever the fuck it's called, NXT pay-per-views. You basically expect the NXT superstars to perform at a much higher level, and they normally try to, because this is where people like Marcus and Jim, who don't watch NXT, will suddenly pay attention to them. It's at this one, which makes sense because it's a big pay-per-view special. It's more for everyone, so they're like, more eyes are on us. We need to outperform well, and it's like they didn't bring that to the table. It was like it felt like an opening match.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think the match was solid, but yeah, there was nothing outstanding about it.
Fair enough.
You know, I did like the match. I'm not saying it's complete shit either. In case, in case anyone listening thought that.
Yeah.
I don't want angry comments in our comment box of "How dare you? That NXT match was completely good. There was nothing bad about that." Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I didn't say it was bad. I just said it wasn't to the high caliber that the NXT pay-per-views are normally, or specials are normally listed as or held to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that is a fair point.
It's like I said, like I used the WrestleMania for example. Who remembers Jericho v Edge at WrestleMania? Jericho v Edge. Both of those two superstars are unbelievably awesome in the ring. Both of them are great. Both of them can have great matches. It's WrestleMania, so you're like, oh my god, what the fuck are they gonna do? They're gonna try so hard, and it just felt like a Raw match, and I'm like, oh my god, that almost breaks my heart. It's like you had everything in place for like a match that should have stole the show, and instead people don't even remember it was on the show. That breaks my heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did forget it was the first match, so. And then, so I guess Corbin Dempsey was the second one.
That is correct.
With that massive, awesome botch clothesline.
This match is the one I mentioned to Marcus. I like that dude.
Which dude? There's two dudes.
Oh fuck! I forgot his name now. The one that's normally
White Taz, or the tall guy with the wolf jacket?
The tall one that normally that looks like Merrick from Wild Force.
Yeah, he does. Yes. Baron Corbin, yeah.
Yeah, I liked him when he first debuted. I'm like, this guy looks interesting. Then I'm watching him, and I don't mean any disrespect to him. I think for what he does, he's really great. I don't mean to insult him. He's more athletic and shit than I am and stuff. But he feels like another Goldberg. It's like his matches are way too short. It's like, oh, okay, I could blink and miss his match. Hell, I could have discussed zombie Chris Benoit and transgender Bruce Springsteen and completely have missed his match. Trust me, people, that comes up a lot. I mean, it's sad. We spent more time discussing Randy Orton as a table and Transformers and wrestling than his matches take.
That's true.
I don't like that because I feel like, but at the same time, like I mentioned to Marcus, I do excuse it because people do forget at the same time NXT is still a developmental territory.
Yeah.
It stands to reason by the time he goes up to the main roster, he will be good.
Yeah.
And will do longer matches. And he has a great look. There is Merrick from Wild Force.
Yeah, supposedly the guys from NXT are brought to the roster. They're good. But let's not forget that that's not always held to be true. Right back.
Yep. Although you could make the case. Yeah, you could make the case, like Richter said, that's not the current NXT.
This is true. This is true.
No,
that's like if we're discussing, like, let's say I was discussing to Marcus, name a great ECW champion. Are you ever going to mention Christian or Mark Henry? Or even CM Punk? As much as CM Punk's great, and Christian was great, they're not ECW champions.
Yeah.
I forgot Mark Henry
was even
was.
silver.
That bothered me.
That's even more so. That's even more so. Considering Mark Henry was actually the last ECW champion.
See, I remembered Big Show was one, but it got really hazy after that.
Oh, come on, you can't forget the greatest ECW star of all time, Bobby Lashley.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, it's like NXT, not NXT. It's like ECW, which was basically what NXT is now, but because horribly named to the point people would write it off. Of being a developmental thing was you had it. The whole thing was then she was structured around CM Punk, but before it was structured around CM Punk, it was Lashley. But then the second the Lashley thing didn't quite work out, they then made it all about CM Punk, and it's like that's not what developmental territory should be. It shouldn't be all about one dude. It should be like NXT, where you get the sense of these people want to put on great matches because they want to be noticed.
No, that's not true. It wasn't just about CM Punk. It was also about Miz and Morrison being awesome, and about Kelly and her horse stripping in the ring.
Yeah, but that's not how the thing was booked. It was all booked so CM Punk would lead the new squad and all this other stuff. It's not ECW, but that was my point. Was the original NXT was cool, and while I do like to mention that now and again, I know Richter's gone on record saying that's not NXT 10.
Yeah, and oh god, I remember that more with the new generation versus the ECW originals. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Richter?
Yes.
That was a great concept, and that was probably one of the best storylines they've done.
Yeah, but
it wasn't as good as it could have been. It was extremely one-sided.
Yes.
Like for example, if I say to Jim, name a great, or not, okay, maybe not Jim, but I said to Richter, name a great ECW promo that took you by surprise. Would it be, I don't know, Steve Austin appearing from WCW on there and just cutting all the promos like Hulk Hogan, or do you remember Die Dewey Die stuff from Mick Foley, or would it be from the Zombie? Which one of those would you mention?
Though, did like the Zombie.
The Zombie was the breakout star of ECW. He headlined the first ECW show.
Yeah. But I still remember the best part about the Zombie was just Taz on commentating, being like, well, this is riveting. And you could tell how much he was pissed off that this was happening in ECW.
Yeah.
That was probably the best part, but yeah, I still remember the Die Dewey Die stuff from Mick Foley. Yeah. That was a great fucking promo. That was amazing. It was not a zombie going, Yeah. Although I do say, when it was a developmental territory, at the same time, the WWE ECW is underrated because it was great for a developmental thing. It was just wrongly named because, like, Kevin Thorne could have been great.
Yes.
And I loved Kevin Thorne with Ariel.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I liked Ariel.
I liked him as our savior Mordecai.
I liked Mordecai too.
I liked Mordecai, and I felt if it was
like
I felt Mordecai, and apparently the dirt sheets may have been right on the Mordecai stuff with that because Kevin Thorne's gone on record as saying that. I do think Mordecai was punished for the wrong reason. Vince and WWE gave him this great storyline of making him Mordecai, so he's like a white Undertaker, so he can basically feud with the Dark Undertaker and they can go at it. And then at some point they realized, wait, he's too like the Undertaker. After this, we got nowhere to go with it. Let's just scrap it. And it's like, why? Like, that also happened to that dude I mentioned to you that interfered with the static. Yeah. And I'm like, why do that? You gave him the story. You can't say, "Bob, we have a complaint for you. Yeah, you're too much like we wanted you to be."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I was too different, you'd fire me.
Yeah. Although that does bring up an interesting point.
Match.
Yeah, if they had gone through with that whole thing and the Mordecai thing didn't screw that thing and then it ran its course and everything, would we have gotten Biker Mordecai?
No, he's the good He's the white good version of Undertaker, essentially. Like, and I mean good as in light, not good as in talented, because Undertaker's better. But which means he totally would have been on an eco-friendly moped.
Nice.
He's been Simon Dean.
There you go.
He would have been on. He would have been on the moped. That's what I think.
Speaking of how to do ECW wrong, good God. Oh.
No, he would have been that. What's that? What's the name of that guy down in what's Richter? Who's that guy in NXT with the long ass dreads with the fucking eco message that gets killed all the time?
Dave Parker.
Yeah, that motherfucker. He'd be that guy.
Maybe it is him. Russo swear.
And I will make the point of what I discussed earlier. This whole conversation longer than his match. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
True. Longer than his match against CJ Parker.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you about Corbin, whatever his name is. I can't even remember his name, but yeah, when he first debuted at Takeover, I was like, okay, I like this guy. This guy could be awesome. That was kind of a squash match, if you can even call it that, but it's his debut. I can let it go. Little did I know that would be what all of his matches would be like. I'm like, oh.
Yep.
Like you said, yeah, he's basically Goldberg at this point. I'm like, no, just no.
However, I would make the case, unlike Goldberg, he's doing his moves really well.
Yeah, he's not hurting people.
He's not hurting people, and he's doing them really well, and he is getting better. His matches are getting slightly longer, and at the end of his matchups, he's looking less exhausted, and he's looking more well-polished and stuff like that. So I'm like, but it's a developmental thing. I have to let that go.
Yeah, I suppose.
Only because what else are you supposed to do in a developmental territory but develop?
True.
This is true.
So what came next, Rick?
I believe it was the Blake and
Sincara?
Murphy versus the Lucha Dragons.
Yeah.
Buddy Murphy and what's Blake's other name?
I will say I do like those two.
Yeah,
And I like their white tights and stuff like. It's a great look that when they come to the main roster, won't need to be completely shitted all over to make them a copy of another tag team.
No, they looked kind of like the Rockers.
They looked like the Rockers meets the Edgeheads.
Yeah.
But I think
am I
that's
the only... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
nothing all I said was I thought that worked. Continue.
Alright, Richter, am I the only one who thought, like, the first time I saw those two guys with their tights, am I the only one who was like, are those Chris Benoit tights? Because they had, like, the claw rips on the sides of them. I'm like, that's the Canadian Crippler tights. What the hell? Minus the maple leaf. Or the Rabbit Wolverine tights, as he was called in WWE. But I was like, wow, okay. I mean, it works, but it took me by surprise because I didn't expect those kinds of tights, or that design on tights, to be used by WWE.
I think WWE's like enough times past. Let's use them for someone else because there is a great design with just the with like the claws. But I like the look, and they performed really well. It was a pretty okay match.
Yep.
Yeah, they did a lot better than I thought they would. I've seen them a couple times, and I thought they were like the Jobber tag team, so I was kind of surprised when they got the belt. But then this match, I was like, wow, they look better than their competition, which is, as far as I know, they are much more rookies than their competition, but they look a lot cleaner.
Which I wish their opponents at NXT had been the Vaudevillains.
Yes, I like
them.
Well, the other thing you have to realize too, Richter, and this is going to sound racist, but I don't mean to be racist, they're not Mexican.
I know, one of them's Australian.
Yeah, that's my point. They're not Hispanic, Mexican, whatever they do down there in Lucha Land. So they've been taught differently. I mean, because if you think about it,
I hope that's a theme park.
I mean, you think about it, Kalisto and Sin Cara, they've come from, being trained as luchas. It's completely different to how WWE does it. So that's why they're not very good in WWE, because they can't adapt to the WWE style very well.
But to be fair, a load of people can adapt to that style as well. Like, we've had people like Rey Mysterio or Eddie Guerrero. Hell, even Alberto adapted well. It's just a case of these guys, they've adapted to the style well. It's just they keep botching shit.
Yeah, because they're used to doing it a specific way, and when they try to do it a different way to conform to more how the WWE does it, or they try to slow it down, they can't do it because it's so ingrained in them to do it a different way that if they do it any other way, they're gonna fuck it up.
And like I said, that does seem racist. Only because, like I said, we've had loads that have done it. Yeah, we've had loads that have done it successfully, though.
True. Well, some adapt better than others.
At least Sin Cara doesn't have his mood lighting anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
It's different Sin Cara.
I liked his move lighting and his trampoline.
The mood lighting goes with the person, not the gimmick.
Yeah, I liked the trampoline, I liked the mood lighting, and I liked the original Sin Cara. I missed that Sin Cara.
They used the trampoline at Takeover Rival.
Yeah, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah. Like I said, the mood lighting travels with the person, not the gimmick.
To be fair, the original Sin Cara got rid of the mood lighting.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that mood lighting.
I think they should at least use the mood lighting for the entrance because it was fine for the entrance.
Yeah,
I hated the fact that they left it on. I'm like, you can turn that off now.
That lighting guy hated him and Fake Sting.
Yes, it's one lighting guy.
Yeah.
It's like, this fake Sting looks really fake. I'm gonna shine a light on that error.
Spoilers, I was the lighting guy because I had to show them all the light.
Maybe it was Tim White and he's hoping this will result in Sting murdering him with a baseball bat. Assuming he's still suicidal.
Wow.
I would think if he was at this point, how many years later?
True, and he seemed to be successful sometimes. That's what was always hilarious. They need to bring back that gimmick for him.
For him?
Bring him back and just have him try to kill himself every week again. Why not? It's hilarious.
There you go. So next match, unless anyone had any other thoughts on the Buddy Murphy and the Murphy Blake versus Lucha Dragons match. They need a tag team name.
No. Murphy and Blake is their tag team name, and it works awesomely. Mole, explain why.
Oh.
Edge and Christian. And I mentioned there's been multiple tag teams before now where it's cool where they just use their name and something else without having to force them together. But I also understand people want the tag team names too. It's just I personally prefer like Edge and Christian instead of like merging them together into like, I don't know, whatever the fuck they would have been called then.
Well, Edge and Christian, like I think at least with Edge's name, it's quick, so it can work. And they put it first. And they were established wrestlers, kind of. Well, at least Edge was before they were known as that. Yeah, I'm not opposed to them having that just name, but it's just not. It's harder to remember because like I never see them. I haven't seen them solo, so it's hard. I don't know which one's which.
I can see that.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't know. Like with like Vaudevillains, you're like, ooh, that's a good name. I can remember that. And, like Lucha Dragons, like I can remember that. But okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, like I said, I do like names when they put them together, like rockers and stuff. It's good. That's always cool.
Yeah, I don't need Air Boom or something silly, but I mean.
Yeah, thank God they don't let the WWE Network or WWE or Universe vote on this. I hate that when it's like, vote on their tag team names. I'm like, well, that doesn't. But every time I see their name on out, all I'm thinking is they're only called this because people made them. Yeah. I want to know they came up with their name by themselves. Fucking Air Boom. Team Hell No. Fuck off.
I like that name though. Anyway, so the next match was Finn Balor versus Adrian Neville.
That was where the pay-per-view got good, in my opinion. That was a great fucking match.
I thought
it was.
So too, yeah.
Now, Marcus and Mo, would you like to debate the differences in Finn Balor's face paint?
No, we're good.
Considering you spent like 30 minutes doing it during the pay-per-view.
Okay, did you want to gym this podcast? Considering you spent an hour doing it during the podcast or during the pay-per-view.
No. All that needs to be said is that I felt that he modified his face paint and molded, and that's where we're gonna leave it.
Yeah, I just felt it looked the same to me, but it's cool. It still looked good. Cool. Yeah. See, that's why Marcus gets a beer later.
All right. No, that match was really good.
Yeah.
More on that match later, but yeah, that match was awesome.
Yeah,
I like that match too.
Yeah, I really did like this match. I thought both styles complemented each other really well, and this to me, and I don't know if you'd agree, Jim, but this to me, it basically accomplishes all of the shit I said about the NXT pay-per-views. I've seen them have some NXT matches, and they're okay. Don't get me wrong, but they're pretty much a weekly show match, which is what they should be. This felt like they went out and left everything in the ring. It felt like they tried just so much harder.
Oh yeah, totally.
Although this was also the beginning of the trend that the NXT pay-per-view had. In my opinion, they hit their finishers too soon to do the 1-2. Oh, kick out. And that's cool in matches, but it's not cool when every match from this point on does it.
Yeah.
But to its credit, it was still a great match. Both people really did do a great job.
Indeed.
I want to see a matchup like that at Mania.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Between Mark Henry and the Big Show.
Nice.
I thought you were gonna say Gold Dust when you did the breathing.
Me too.
I was being dramatic. And also equally sarcastic, as Big Show v Mark Henry cannot go out there and put on this match. Although, if Big Show ever got to the top rope and did Adrian Neville's finisher, I would just shit my pants and be like, fuck off. That's every award on my list. It's defying gravity. It's defying rules of physics. It's awesome. It's everything on 5.
If he did that, I would tell everyone to go home. Wrestling is over.
Pretty much.
It's one. There's no more.
How much
Big
awesome
Show gets
would it
every
be?
belt.
Yeah. How much would it be awesome if Big Show did Adrian Neville's flip around, lands right on his chest, and when he does it, the ring then implodes from the sheer force of this move as he hits it perfectly with no botches, and it cuts backstage. You just see Adrian Neville just go, and just throw his wrestling tights in the bin and walk off like Spider-Man, no more.
No more.
There you go.
It just shows him, he does that. He just puts his hair in a ponytail. He puts on a FedEx uniform or something, just walks away. I don't know what job he'd give it. I just picture him putting on they just watch him put on the uniform. He's just dead silent the whole time.
He just walks away. He's like, no, I'm done. I agree. Wrestling would be over at that point. We're never going to see another moment that good.
Yeah.
Big Show, if you're listening to our podcast, get on that.
Yeah, really.
I'm kidding, as Big Show's hosting.
Ah.
I'll
To the
take it.
ivory tower.
Yep. That's his secret. He doesn't put Jim to sleep by saying Vita. He says Vita and knockout punch. Podcast. Vita. That's what he calls his finishing move.
There you
There
go.
you go.
You need to do that, Rick. Take the knockout punch and then do it to Jim in the 2K games while screaming Vita.
Nice. So the next match was the NXT Women's Fatal 4-Way for the title.
I think this was 4-way. I thought this was NXT rival.
Nice. I'm
just glad I didn't accidentally say Divas match. I'm trying very hard to remember. No, say NXT Women's.
Which is why I wondered why is it the NXT Women's title and not the NXT Divas title? I thought WWE was always just loved their catchwords.
I think it's because you're not really a diva until you're on the main roster. NXT, they will say NXT wrestlers before now a few times instead of superstars, because superstar and divas, as Triple H and WWE standpoint is because it's a word that encompasses more than just wrestler, because they're also doing TV shows, movies, they're also doing autograph signings and stuff, whereas NXT people aren't.
Fair enough.
I don't know if that's a good way of looking at it or a bad way, but...
Yeah, it's true, though.
Autograph signings.
Oh, I assume they do autograph signings, but I mean, like, WWE will do, like, big-ass ones.
Yeah.
For, like,
Adrian Neville goes to Kmart.
Yeah.
Lonely
And
Virgin.
it was interesting. It was interesting this week. It's when Daniel Bryan simply brought up on Raw that he was a better wrestler than Roman Reigns. Like, ooh, he's the W word. Is he allowed to do that?
Yes, it's what one of the W's stands for.
I know, but that doesn't mean that Vince likes to acknowledge that fact.
Why do you think he got speared?
Yeah,
Get him!
that wasn't in the script. But no,
You altered the script. Pray I don't alter it further.
nice. But yeah, they
It's like,
fight
like I took the Arn Anderson revenge punch to the face.
Yeah. But the fatal, and that was to the kidney. But yeah, the
Kidney,
fatal
sorry.
four-way, divas, man. I liked 3 of the divas in it. I don't like Bailey.
Poor Bailey.
I know. It's mainly, like I said, it's mainly her gimmick in the ring. She's not overly terrible.
Yeah.
She's not the best in the ring, which makes
Yeah.
it worse. But just because if like let's say she had that gimmick and she went out there and was as good as Charlotte or Sasha, maybe I could overlook it. But that gimmick just holds it back. I don't like that. But I like the other 3. And like I said, I wish it'd been a one-on-one match though. Only because Sasha defeated her arch rival of Charlotte-ish at this point to get the title, and she actually pinned Charlotte too. It wasn't like she pinned one of the other ones, so Charlotte looked strong like I was expecting. So it's like, why were the other 2 even there? That might just be a hard way of looking at it. Still, great match. That was just my thoughts. I don't know about the rest of you.
It was a great match.
Indeed, I really like this match.
Yeah. Yes, I thought it was a very good match. I do like Bailey, but yes, I agree that gimmick is bad.
But
to be fair, though, I do want that entrance. I also actually don't fully like Sasha's gimmick, but I think she's really good. For me, it's like I haven't seen Becky Lynch do much, so it's like for me, it was like I expected her to be there because of how all of it was building up, but I was still like, why do you have a chance here? You were a lackey, like you haven't done much that I know you as a wrestler. I know you as Sasha's lackey until like 10 minutes ago. So
I had no idea who the hell that was. It was just a random name. I was like, oh, okay, random extra person.
Yeah,
she's the female Road Dogg. I'm sorry, the Roadie was a great gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't heard much about Becky Lynch either. But I was like, okay, well, she's an NXT diva, so she's obviously going to have some talent. And she was pretty good in there. I really like Bailey. I think she's really good. Again, like you guys pointed out, the gimmick sucks. I've hated the gimmick since the first time. I saw what they were going for, and it kind of works for her, but at the same time, I'm like, no, get her a different gimmick.
Yeah.
Because I said to Mo, the one thing that we differed on was I actually liked a lot of her outfits, or at least the ones that I had seen her in earlier on, like when she had the multicolored thing, where it looked like an outfit off of someone you would see in what's that? The women's promotion, Richter?
Which one?
The good one, the big one.
Shimmer, glitter, shimmer. There we go.
Is it Shimmer?
Shimmer.
Yeah, when I saw her, she reminded me of like the Shimmer wrestlers. Like where some of those would have the gimmick of like the happy-go-lucky stuff, and they'd have the multicolored. That's what she reminded me of, and I was like, okay, I kind of like that look because to me, it actually makes you look somewhat credible because it looks like you're coming from Shimmer, and I believe she actually did come from Shimmer. But and when I saw what she could do in the ring, I was like, okay, she's pretty good. She's a little rough. She's probably a little, untrained, but she's really good, and I want to see more of what she can do. But yeah, the gimmick is just the instant I saw the gimmick, the instant I saw what she did in terms of the acting and the gimmick and the portrayal, I was like, okay, well, with that smile and that look, it kind of works for you. Just know you have so much talent in the ring that it kind of like what they did with Emma, that kind of buries your talent.
It does. Which, yeah, I will also say this match, based on this one and the next one both being the championships, I did predict who was going to win both times.
Nice.
Yep.
And I will say I was happy who won both times. Which, I really do like Sasha, and I was like, I wanted to see her have the title, because don't get me wrong, I like Charlotte. I don't want to see Charlotte as champion. But there is a time where a champion's had the belt for so long, I kind of want to see someone else.
Yeah.
And I do like Sasha, so I was like, I'm glad they put the belt on her. I just really hope, as I pointed out, and I don't mean any offense, I hope it wasn't just because it was February.
Wow. I like Sasha Banks. I like Sasha Banks too. I haven't seen a lot of her. I have to kind of disagree with Richter on the gimmick thing. I think the gimmick works for her. I think the problem with that gimmick is that she takes it a little too over the top. But I think her gimmick is more Alicia Fox, but good.
And I was going to say before Marcus interrupted me, I said...
You interrupted me first. I wasn't done talking.
You had to stop. You had a big gap where you weren't talking.
No, but anyway, continue. I'm done now.
But, no, I was saying that before I was interrupted as usual, but yeah, it was a case of... Again, see? But yeah, it was a case of... I say with February because, and I don't mean any disrespect to it, but WWE tends to do that in February. They give a person of African American descent, they give them the title, and then come March they take it off them. They do this every year almost, and I don't want to see that happen again. And it's normally not the main title, but like this will be the title where you suddenly have like Big Zeke get the Intercontinental Championship, or fucking Titus O'Neil win the US title. You know what I mean? Something like that. And I'm like, I hope that's not what they've done, because I really like Sasha.
Yeah, she is good.
Indeed.
All right, so the final match then was the main event of Kevin Owens v. Sami Zayn. And I don't know, I did not like that match necessarily, not like irregardless of the outcome. It was like, it just felt really slow, and I'm like, it's okay. Like, I understand what they're kind of going for, but it just was not, it wasn't exciting. It was not interesting to me. I was like, oh man, you had all this build-up, but it's just, this match is too slow paced.
I hated that match. It was a fucking terrible match for what it was supposed to be. Because, and that's not to knock Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens, because they both did a good job. They hit good spots and they showed good talent, but like you said, it's like with what the build-up was, there was little to no payoff, and the fact that it's not only a championship match for the big main title on a pay-per-view, and after everything Sami Zayn has gone through to get the title, and this is how he's going to go out, this is what you put out on a pay-per-view for? No, fuck off. That's almost like main roster bullshit there. It's like, what the fuck, dude? This is supposed to be NXT. That was, for NXT standards, that was bullshit.
Maybe his Road to Redemption was so popular they want to repeat it.
See, that's what I get. That's what I'm thinking they might be doing with the way they ended that match, which was one of the biggest problems with the match is how they fucking ended it. I'm like, no, that is not an ending. But with how they ended it, I kind of said at the end, I said, well, I can kind of see them putting the title back on Sami Zayn after he overcomes, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I gave this match of the night. I really did like this match.
Yeah,
because it was everything I felt it needed to be. It was different enough to Sami Zayn versus Adrian Neville that it won't be compared. Because these guys could have gone out there and wrestled and gone and put on a proper wrestling match, but people will compare it to that match. So instead of going for look at the spectacle they're putting on with the jumps and the flips and all this, it's like, it's just a brutal beatdown. It's like when Brock beat down Cena the first time, every single one of us gave that match of the night. And I think that's why this works. It made Kevin Owens look so fucking credible of just destroying him that way, and also it stands to reason that Kevin Owens v Finn Balor will be a pretty great feud because of this. Because it literally during their matchup with Adrian Neville, Finn Balor is the guy that won't stay down, versus the man that keeps you down. That just writes itself as a simple, to the point feud, and I thought that what they did from a storytelling and from a match standpoint worked for what they were going for, and I liked it.
I agree wholeheartedly, because the fact of the matter is, it worked because they were building Kevin Owens as this big Brock Lesnar-like monster who had the power but also the speed, and they really put that over well to really put him over as a legitimate threat and to show what he could do. And they simultaneously, because they had that long rivalry between the two of them before the company, they built that up a lot. And they put it over that Sami Zayn, he fought and clawed his way, and he beat Adrian Neville, and he overcame the longest-running NXT champion. But the fact of the matter is, he might not be able to overcome this guy. This is something new for Sami Zayn. And they put over the fact not only that this is a huge threat to him, but also that Sami Zayn, even in the face of this massive threat, in the face of utter defeat, would not tap out. He would not give up, and that gives him a lot of credibility to boot.
And I can agree with that.
What do you think, Amy?
I didn't like the match, remember? It reminded me, okay, way back when, there was a show called Dragon Ball Z, and there was an episode.
Be more specific.
Okay. In the Boo arc, there's a part where they're at a tournament. I know that barely limits it down. And Videl fought some dude, and that was the most boring fucking episode I ever saw, and it reminded me exactly of that.
And it evidently was, considering the most defining feature of the character was some dude.
Yes, he literally was just some scrubby dude. This is not a bad thing. I'm sure Mole remembers it. It was some guy. It was like the Basham brothers. It was like two dudes. I don't remember their names. But
they were basically just there to show what the power of Majin will do to someone, but they were completely forgettable. They did look like Richter said, imagine the Basham brothers from WWE, but imagine them done as those action figures WWE did, was all steroids, like they were on fucking Titan from Titan from
Asylum.
Yeah,
nice.
But yeah, it's just sort of reminded me. I was like, oh, okay. Well, it's like, yeah, like I understand what they were going for. Just I don't know. I did not like that match. It was not interesting. I was like, oh.
Well, which is obviously fair enough. That's going to be the same with any match.
Yeah.
As long as someone's entertained somewhere, they've done their job. Like even if you're entertained by one match, or if you're entertained by a different match, they've done their job.
Yes.
Unlike most of Raw, where no one's entertained.
Exactly.
Except Vince McMahon.
Except for Marcus, because he's normally online at the same time, so he gets to hear me insult the shit out of every single thing they're doing. And then he also gets to insult the shit out of every single thing they're doing.
Yeah.
This is true.
But I will say, if they do another one of these specials, I keep wanting to say pay-per-view, but it's not a pay-per-view technically.
Can you only see it on the network though? I can't remember.
Yes.
Okay,
so you can only see it on the network for $9.99. I believe it's come up.
Yeah. So it's like it's not a specifically you're paid to viewing that, but you're still paying to view it. So it's like one of those weird areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
like when people yell at each other over if a PlayStation Plus game is free. It reminds me of that. Like you can say it's a pay-per-view, but you could argue against it. We'll just let it. Whichever side you're on, it's fine. Either it's not a pay-per-view or it is. We're okay with that.
I would just call it a special for the simple reason I pay as much for the WWE Network as I do for the sports channel so I can watch Raw, and I refuse to call Raw pay-per-view because it's complete shit. I don't want to live in this world anymore if that's a pay-per-view.
Fair enough.
But the NXT
one... We're just praying for Big Show to hit that red arrow so we can all go home.
Yeah.
I'm going to laugh if next week it turns out we've become wildly popular, and Big Show just gets Big Show's arrow chance. And when Orton comes out, it's be a table. Be a table. I'd be amused. I could die a happy mole.
That would be every award.
It would be.
Pretty much.
But I was gonna say, when they do the next special, I don't want another one of these matches, or maybe possibly because it's Finn Balor, it's someone different, maybe. But if this is the only matchups that this guy does in the main spots on the pay-per-view, I'll be disappointed. But as a rare occurrence, I like these types of matches now and again as a rare thing.
Yeah, I can see that. Kind of like Finn's entrance. Like, I wouldn't want to see it every week, but I like it as a pay-per-view entrance.
Yeah.
It's like
I could see that.
It's like I mentioned the Brock Lesnar thing. Brock Lesnar v Cena. First time, we all loved it. Second time, still cool because it was one-sided in the opposite way. However, if he was coming out every week and doing that matchup with Cena, I'd be pissed. Like Dean Ambrose v Wade Barrett. No, it's like Dean Ambrose v fucking Bray Wyatt, I should say, where it was ridiculously weapons for the sake of weapons. If it had just been a one-off, that would have been awesome.
Mm.
And I will also say I love you all. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Oh. You're an hour and a half late, but that's okay.
He's like way late for him though, right?
I am. I didn't want to do it the day before because then I would be seen as homosexual, and because it's WWE, they would totally drop me while pretending to support me, yet totally just put me in the background with a weird facial hair so you don't recognize who I am. Thank you.
Poor Damien said, oh, wait, no. Just when you said weird facial hair. I haven't seen... You see poor Michael Cole?
I did. When they removed his facial hair, they did the opposite.
Yeah.
That's a point. Michael Cole, is he the opposite of a mirror universe? Because when he had the goatee, he was a good guy. Then when he shaved it off, he became coal miner.
Maybe.
Years later.
You know, actually, no, maybe this is the Mirror Universe version. They just somehow got switched.
It's modified Mirror Universe.
There you go.
But no, I was obviously making the Darren Young joke, but I'm sorry, I shouldn't make that. I do want Darren Young to actually come back on the main roster.
I didn't know he had
the no nights off.
There you go.
That still amuses me when I'm playing the 2K game. It's like, he's Mr. No Days Off. And I'm like, but he's not on TV. I can have a day off from nothing. I could have a day off from just not appearing on TV. I'm also Mr. No Days Off, because I'm also not on Raw every week.
Yeah.
Is that how this works?
No, because you're not online criticizing WWE's policy because they didn't take you to freaking Abu Dhabi. You see that shit?
I did. Which is why I'm going to say I'm in an equal boat with him because they also didn't take me.
Bro.
Which, to be fair, I will say to WWE's credit, because that kind of needs to be addressed when we mentioned that, not taking him there is fair enough because they can't change the rules and laws of that country, and there he's likely to be arrested for it. So I can understand it. I don't condone it. I don't think that country should have those rules. However, it's the rule of that country.
Mm-hmm. It's the same like when you go to Canada, you can't bring R-Truth.
They allow black people. What the fuck are you implying? Virgil's wrestled there.
You're an idiot. For those listening at home that are confused, R-Truth cannot go to Canada because he has a drug conviction on his record.
But I'd make the case, why is Booker T a commentator when they go to Canada?
Did they not have an attitude era at all there? Is that?
I don't know.
And hell, isn't that where Chris Benoit's from?
True.
Was he convicted though? I don't think he stood trial.
Yeah, I don't think you could do that when that doesn't work.
He killed himself and changed his identity.
Yeah.
He stood trial. That came up in Get Out of Hell. No, I'm kidding. That was not in
okay.
Get Out of Hell. Well, that would have been amazing.
What if that was? Why is
they
they
had
having
Roddy
like
Piper? They had Roddy Piper in one. They need Chris Benoit in the Hell one. That would have been a what?
Yeah.
Oh, man. There'd be so many people who'd be like, "What?" Oh man, that would be funny.
User Swerve. He's actually voiced by Chris Benoit. Wait, how is this possible? Is he two-packing it?
Yes. They just take like all of his promos and like build a program that'll simulate his speech or something. That'd be crazy.
And I was only kidding with the R-Truth stuff. Yeah, I understood the thing about not being allowed there if you're convicted of stuff. And like I said, it makes sense. But I do really feel sorry for Darren Young too, because for Darren Young, you could argue the R-Truth one is his own fault. He shouldn't have been caught. I mean, he shouldn't have done the event.
Well, you're right. He shouldn't have been caught, but that's not exactly his fault.
No, he shouldn't have done the thing in the first place. Darren Young, it's not like he thought, you know what, get me over with the fans. What if I pop my cock in this dude? No, that's not how that works. He's genuinely out the sexual orientation of being a homosexual, which is perfectly fine. Which means I feel sorry for him because his is not something he can change or something he's done wrong. He's just being persecuted, which is kind of bad. But at the same time, I understand that WWE didn't take him there because, you kind of don't want to take him there just to have him arrested.
True, but the other question that brings up to me though is if they went there, did the Divas have to wrestle in like fully covered clothing?
Yeah.
I believe the answer is yes, and they brought back the Ninja Turtles, and they called it the Foot Soldier match because they were all dressed like ninjas.
There you go.
Okay then.
I went there.
Yeah.
I totally went the direction of Burka looks like a ninja.
Yeah.
I do that a lot, actually. Can't see that person. They blend in.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, it's Tupac's ghost, and run away. No, I don't do that.
Alrighty then.
In this
It's the
podcast,
evil
Tupac
spirits
was
in the
mentioned
movie
2 more times than he's ever been mentioned in any of our podcasts.
It was. But like I said, based on them looking like black ghosts, they're the evil spirits in the movie Ghost. Those things creeped me out a little bit when I was a kid. Not scared me, they were like, oh, that's creepy.
But at any rate, why don't we move on to our matches of pros of the night because we're going on 2 hours here already.
Okay, sounds good.
It is an extended edition due to a special.
True.
And it's been extended by an hour so far. But yeah, this has gone too long.
All right, so I'll go real quick. My match of the night was Finn Balor versus Adrian Neville. So that was
a great match.
Yeah, that's all I saw last week was the NXT
I can't.
So
one thing I can't figure out is how is there a safe way to do Finn Balor's finisher and not break somebody's ribs? That's what I don't understand.
I don't either. Like when he did it the one time, I was like, "Ooh, yeah, he can't do that very often." And then he like does it like week after week, and I'm like, like is this a time bomb just waiting to crack somebody?
Yes, there's some figure like the wrestlers must be using their arms to half cushion the blow or something. There's got to be some way this is being done.
Yeah, of course there is. If you look closely, you can see the wires.
His finishing move is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. He just goes all the way up in the air.
Yeah.
Strictly speaking, if he's on wires and doing a big thing in the air, I think his move is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Owen.
Yeah. Which I will say, if you like wire work and you like seeing the wires, you totally need to check out Mutant Axe. Only because I will admit, which is slightly obscure, but watching that, it annoyed me whenever they did a special effect, and I was like, I can see a wire. What the fuck? He's edited that out. But yeah, back to XA.
That's fine. And there were no promos, I don't think, during the thing, so I didn't really have a promo tonight. So anyway, with match and promo of the night for the various shows, take it away, Jim.
Welcome. So, my Raw match of the night was actually Brie Bella versus Paige, because that was actually a really good Divas match for Raw. Not nearly as good as the Fatal 4-Way Divas match in the NXT Women's Championship, but still a decent Divas match.
That was mine.
Yeah, that was a good match. They went back and forth. They put on a good show. They had the Brie hit Nikki off the apron inadvertently thing, and it worked well. It was a good match. And I believe, you can all correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe by unanimous agreement, the Raw promo of the night was BNZ.
Agreed.
Disagreed.
Really?
Yes, that was a great promo. Don't get me wrong, but I had one I actually did enjoy more.
Fair enough.
I don't know. And my match that I for Takeover was the main event, same as Amber's Kevin Owen. I thought, and from a wrestling perspective, wasn't necessarily that good. From a storyline perspective, to tell a story, it was amazing. That's why I liked it. And there were no promos on Takeover. Back to the tower.
All right, so with your match and promo of the night, take it away, Marcus.
All right. So my match of the night for Raw was Dolph Ziggler versus Bray Wyatt. I really liked that match. I thought they did a really good job, and yeah,
except
for
the
once.
except the part where Ziggler broke Wyatt's nose.
Well, yeah, but Bray Wyatt was okay. It wasn't broken, so he's fine. But yeah, I really like that match. I like the matches that they've been having recently. So, Bray Wyatt and Ziggler. So. Hopefully it'll continue. Hopefully it'll get better. Promo of the night, as Jim mentioned, was BNZ, the Bad News Zone, because that's fucking awesome. They're doing good stuff with Wade Barrett, so it makes me happy. And if you guys haven't seen BNZ, you need to check it out. You could probably find it on YouTube. Go to the WWE channel. They probably have them up there.
Yeah, I saw one of them. I think it was last week, so.
Yep. If not, you could probably find it on the WWE Network, because they'd be stupid not to highlight that in the This Week on WWE thing they do. My match of the night at TakeOver was Finn Balor versus Adrian Neville. That match was just awesome. That was such a good match. And I look forward to seeing more Finn Balor, see the matches going forward here. Though I don't know if they'll have him take the title off of Owens. Especially if they're trying to build Owens up as a Brock Lesnar. I'm guessing where they're going with this, unless they're calling him up with Neville. My guess is they're going to put the title back on Sami Zayn.
That'd be awesome if they came up as like a new Nexus.
That'd be interesting. We are one, we are one. But yeah, and of course, as we said before, no promo on TakeOver. So, back to Richter.
All right, so match and promo of the night. Take it away, Mo.
Okay. Matchups first. I went with Raw, Paige versus Brie Bella, where Paige won via Rampage, which, like Jim touched upon, it was a great match. I did enjoy that match. It was solid. SmackDown, I went with Paige versus Summer Rae, where Paige won by the PTO, with the commentary by the Bellas, which was a great match. I thought it was the best match on SmackDown. However, I will mention the commentary kind of hurt it, because the commentating with the Bellas went on about everything other than the match. But the match up in its ring, in itself, when you got to watch it in the ring, they were actually technical. They were actually wrestling well. So I did enjoy that match. TakeOver, I went with the Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for the reason I mentioned earlier. I did like that. And promos, I went with NXT Takeover, the intro when they were talking about being the future, because it was the only promo and it was really well done. Boom, I had one, people. My SmackDown one, which I mentioned was cheating, I went with the Sting promo, because they showed the promo from Raw of Sting, but they edited it dramatically to insert more cuts and more special effects and completely hid the fact that was a fake sting.
Oh wow.
So they actually did it well on SmackDown. So I was like, it's kind of cheating, but the editing does need to be mentioned. So I don't know. You guys can say that's cheating if you want. I'll just go non-applicable.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, fair enough. And for Raw, I went with the promo, Rusev and Lana honoring Cena. And talk about how Cena was the old man and how Rusev was just superior. Then they came out and they actually fucking brawled up the ramp and they had a big beatdown. That was really well done. That got me behind that feud a lot more. Because I'm like, ooh, Rusev could actually win this. And I was like, that's kind of cool. They made Rusev look really credible. They nerfed Cena enough that you can buy Rusev beating him while also highlighting the fact Cena's been there for so long. And I know some people were like, it's a little weird to see address Cena as an old man, but he has been on top of WWE now for like over 10 years as the main face. And we ourselves have had a discussion which spawned the second discussion on WXR back when the show was called that, of how Cena was definitely old and past it. So I was like, WWE's finally addressing it. That promo hit all the right notes for me. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. So unless there are any other things to mention, this has been another X Marks the Spot. So I'd like to thank everyone here for joining us for tonight. Thank you. And everyone out there. Oh, thank you. And everyone out there for listening, thank you very much. And we hope to see you again next week. Or have you listen to us next week? I guess we don't see, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, thank you very much, and good night.